This video will contain spoilers. Batman! Everybody loves him, and who can blame them? The character is a pop cultural icon, and on top of having countless incredible runs in the comics and graphic novels, the presence of Batman has extended to video games, TV shows, movies, and frankly countless other mediums. But what many fans consider to be a masterpiece, on top of these, is Batman the Animated Series. Created by Bruce Timm and Eric Radomski, the series, which first aired in 1992, is widely praised for its dark yet sophisticated storytelling and character development. Batman the Animated Series is so influential for its innovative animation, exploring complex and mature themes, and its memorable villains that it's gone on to influence countless subsequent Batman adaptations. With the iconic voices of Kevin Conroy as Batman and Mark Hamill as Joker even reprising their roles in several animated and video game projects, and even a live-action appearance from Conroy. To say the series has left an impact is definitely putting it lightly. One thing this series did so well in particular was psychologically explore Batman and especially his villains on a deep level, diving into the depths of their backstories and motivations in a way that makes these characters feel three-dimensional. And while the series has tons of great examples of doing just that, for me, few did it better than Heart of Ice. The 14th episode of the first season, Heart of Ice sees Batman following a trail of heists at various offices of a company called GothCorp, all carried out by a strange man named Mr. Freeze. So I'll get the obvious out of the way first. The animation in this episode is spectacular. It has a marvelous attention to detail with the usual striking designs and fluid movements you'd expect from this series, and that even extends to the world the characters inhabit. There is so much going on in the backgrounds of so many of these scenes that it really makes Gotham feel alive and lived in, and the way the episode uses snow and ice in particular is very striking. Any ice has this really cool glittery look to it, and the snow is brilliantly used to evoke the tragedy of the episode. Heart of Ice was the first episode of the series to be written by Paul Dini and directed by Bruce Timm himself. Paul Dini's writing here is off the charts great. If you want an exact idea of how good that is, this episode won Batman the Animated Series a Daytime Emmy Award for Outstanding Writing. This is a mere 22-minute long episode, and the tension, atmosphere, and character development all feel fleshed out, and it's perfectly paced. Nothing feels cut for time. You clearly understand everyone's motivations. The mystery is built up well and unravels naturally. The action is exciting and fast-paced, but the slower, emotional moments are all given the right amount of time to breathe. On a writing level, this is a fantastic execution of the Batman the Animated Series formula. Although while Heart of Ice is an amazing Batman story, I do have to acknowledge that Batman himself doesn't actually have a lot to do here. He does everything you would expect him to. He solves the mystery, he exposes a corrupt corporation, and kicks ass while he's at it, but Batman's role in this story is basically just be Batman. But I'm not complaining. I could listen to Kevin Conroy voice Batman for hours, days even. Most of the character development goes to Mr. Freeze, and this is where Dini's masterful writing is particularly prevalent. For a start, the way Mr. Freeze had been depicted up to this point in the comics was definitely on the sillier and goofier side of things. But wisely, Dini and Timm chose to do a complete creative overhaul on the character, giving us the version we see in Heart of Ice, and in doing so, turned Mr. Freeze into one of the most compelling and tragic characters in Batman's rogues gallery. From the very first scene, Mr. Freeze is an intimidating presence. His design is imposing and even a little creepy. His bright red eyes and the way they glow in the dark is very unnerving, and his freeze gun is used to great effect throughout the episode. Freeze really gives Batman a run for his money just with that gun alone. Freeze can do some real damage with that thing, and when people get hit by it, it doesn't just freeze them, it actually hurts them. He's also merciless, as he'll leave any of his henchmen behind if they get in his way in any conceivable fashion, including when he accidentally shoots them with his own freeze gun. All of that combines to make Mr. Freeze a pretty threatening villain, one who manages to evade and incapacitate Batman on more than one occasion, and considering what his comic origins and even his appearances on the Adam West show looked like, this is a significant upgrade. But the tragedy of Mr. Freeze is absolutely the aspect of the character that sticks out the most. Over the course of the episode, Batman discovers that Freeze is actually a scientist called Dr. Victor Freeze, who was presumed dead after a laboratory accident. We learn Freeze was using GothCorp's equipment to conduct a medical procedure to save his terminally ill wife. But when GothCorp's CEO Ferris Boyle discovers what Freeze has been up to, he cruelly shuts down the procedure, causing an accident that would leave Freeze physically altered and unable to cure his wife. With Freeze's wife presumably dead, until she wasn't, but still, Freeze is left with nothing but a lust for revenge. Giving Mr. Freeze a tragic backstory was a stroke of genius because it puts the audience in an interesting position. When we see Freeze's origin play out, it's a genuinely heartbreaking scene that paints Freeze in a very sympathetic light. He can't survive outside of sub-zero temperatures, so he has to wear a protective suit, meaning he can't experience really any form of physical human contact, and on top of that, he wasn't able to cure his wife. There is so much tragedy to this character that you just can't help but root for him. And it's especially tough to resist considering Ferris Boyle, who's arguably the episode's true villain, is portrayed as a pretentious, self-absorbed, and financially driven asshole. He has brought so much pain and tragedy to Mr. Freeze's life that it's almost a kick in the balls when Batman stops Freeze from killing him. I wouldn't blame anyone for viewing Ferris Boyle as a one-note antagonist with not much to him, cause, I mean, there really isn't much to him. But he serves his purpose in this episode, and the hateability of the character does make it easier to sympathize with Freeze. And that's why Mr. Freeze is such a great villain. He's doing bad things, but he's also a deeply tragic character, and his backstory and motivations are articulated so clearly and executed so beautifully that he becomes a villain that you're not only intimidated by, but you also understand and sympathize with him. I've already talked about how cool all the snow and ice in this episode looks, but the way the snow globe is used to reflect Freeze's characterization in the opening might just be the most heartbreaking image in the entire episode. You've got Freeze looking at this snow globe with a model of his wife Nora dancing while snow falls all around her. That image sums up Mr. Freeze perfectly, showing that he's figuratively and literally a cold human being, but his love for Nora is the one bit of warmth left within him and is what motivates him to seek revenge. Dini's script and Tim's direction handled this character with so much care and skill that it's hard to imagine a better depiction of Mr. Freeze, even in the comics. As a character, Mr. Freeze just comes together in every conceivable way, and just one 22-minute long episode was able to turn Mr. Freeze into one of the greatest villains Batman has ever faced. And while again, Batman doesn't have a lot to do here, I do like the parallels between his and Freeze's backstories. Both experienced incredible tragedy in their past, with Batman losing his parents and Freeze losing his wife. Until she came back, but still. And I especially love how the episode closes with Batman watching over Freeze while he's in prison. On the one hand, it shows Batman feels sympathy for Freeze and even understands him, but it also recognizes Freeze as a reflection of what he could have become had he gone on a similar path of revenge. A broken, cold, vengeance-driven man with nothing left but his grief. The voice cast is unsurprisingly great. Kevin Conroy is of course fantastic as Batman, and even Mark Hamill makes a surprise appearance in this episode as Ferris Boyle, and he's really good. Interestingly, this was actually Mark Hamill's first recording session for Batman the Animated Series before he would eventually and famously be cast as Joker, replacing Tim Curry. Admittedly, Hamill's performance here is my least favorite of all the voice performances in this episode, but he still gives it his all and does everything he can to make Ferris Boyle, at the very least, a memorable villain. Michael Ansara voices Freeze in the first of many appearances as the character throughout the DCAU. I know others have portrayed Mr. Freeze, but to me, Ansara is Mr. Freeze. The script gives the character a lot of poetic dialogue, and I honestly don't know if anyone could have delivered these lines as well as Michael Ansara did. His voice work brings quiet and restrained threat to Mr. Freeze, but he also imbues so much anger and sadness into every line. There's no wonder many consider this to be among the best episodes of Batman the Animated Series. Some even say it's the absolute greatest episode of television to ever come out of the show. Heart of Ice represents everything that was great about this show. Gorgeous animation, engrossing storytelling, in-depth character development, and an incredible villain at its center. Hello again. Just want to say a very quick thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I really do appreciate it, and if you're interested in seeing more content from myself, I will be doing more videos on this channel very soon, as well as some stuff on TikTok. So if you're interested in seeing what that's about, the link for my TikTok will be in the description below. Once again, thank you very much for watching, and until next time, I'll see you then.